feel like I really understand that we have a responsibility to change the narrative around what we are delivering to young people in the classroom.
Behind royal smiles and polished headlines lies a story few dare to explore. Princess Beatrice married a man often praised, but rarely questioned. From his past relationships to whispers around his business dealings, there's more beneath the surface than the public sees. This isn't the fairy tale you think it is. It's the truth no one talks about. The man who stays when everyone else runs. On February 19, 2026, Prince Andrew turned 66 years old. He spent his birthday at a farmhouse on the Sandringham estate called Wood Farm, because just weeks earlier he had been forced out of Royal Lodge, the home he had occupied for over 20 years. Now here is the part that most coverage missed. The day Andrew was arrested, Edoardo Mozzi, the husband of Andrew's own daughter, Princess Beatrice, was not at a family dinner or offering quiet support. He was in Florida, conducting business, attending design events, and posting Instagram photos at a restaurant called Le Bilboquet in Palm Beach, as if the world were entirely fine. And the most remarkable thing is this: that is not cold indifference. That is a survival strategy. Because of over 5 years of marriage to Beatrice, Edoardo has perfected the art of staying steady while everything around him is on fire. When the tabloids first identified Edoardo Mozzi in late 2018, they called him a property developer. The more ambitious ones called him an Italian tycoon. Every single one of them missed the most important part of the sentence. He is a count, not a nickname, not an affectation. A genuine hereditary title granted by letters patent in 1913 by King Victor Emmanuel III and recorded in the official Italian Book of Gold, the Libro d'Oro della Nobiltà Italiana. Italy abolished noble titles legally in 1948, but families who carry these names did not stop being who they are because a republic told them to. His family owns Villa Mozzi in Castelnuovo, in the province of Lecco, between Bergamo and Lake Como. The estate began as a monastery in the 1400s. It was renovated in 1927, and today operates as a luxury wedding and events venue with 13 bedrooms, a formal garden, a swimming pool, and 18,000 square meters of parkland. When Edoardo talks in interviews about spaces that carry memory, about natural materials that age with dignity, about rooms that feel inhabited rather than decorated, he is not using design school language. He spent his actual childhood inside a building where that was literally true. His father, Alessandro, was born in Buenos Aires, raised in Italy, educated at Downside School in Somerset, and somehow ended up representing Great Britain in alpine skiing at the 1972 Winter Olympics in Sapporo, Japan. After hanging up his skis, he became an international art dealer and earned the title of Fellow of the Royal Society of Arts. His mother, Nikki Williams Ellis, built her own path through charity and property, and her grandfather was a Liberal Party politician personally close to King George VI when the king held the title Duke of York. There is a harder chapter in this story, too. Edoardo's stepfather was Christopher Shale, a senior Conservative Party figure and one of David Cameron's closest personal friends. On June 25, 2011, Shale was found dead at the Glastonbury Festival. Heart failure. He was 56 years old. Cameron publicly called him a big rock in my life. For Edoardo, it was a different kind of loss. What he did next tells you more about his character than any business profile ever could. Together with his half-brother Albie, Edoardo co-founded Cricket Builds Hope, a charity dedicated to building Rwanda's first proper cricket stadium in Christopher Shale's memory. They raised over £1 million. Edoardo personally cycled 100 kilometers through London overnight to help get there. The Gahanga Cricket Stadium opened in October 2017, inaugurated by President Paul Kagame. He had centuries of history behind him, a grief that shaped him, and every door of privilege opened to him. So at 23 years old, he named a company after a simple hut and started building an empire. The empire built for hut. The name Banda comes from the Swahili word for a simple coastal dwelling. Edoardo conceived it during a trip to Lamu, Kenya, staying in one of those stripped-back structures where nothing is wasted and everything serves a purpose. He then used that philosophy to build one of the most expensive luxury property companies in London. The tension between those two things is not ironic. It is the entire point of how he works. Banda Property was incorporated in 2009, though Edoardo had been operating informally since 2007. Having just completed a master's degree in politics at the University of Edinburgh, he started with 3 or 4 clients and a principle he never abandoned. Rather than managing large volumes of transactions the way most high-end consultants operated, Banda would go deep on a small number of clients and treat each project with total personal investment. By the time he was 30 years old, Banda had overseen property developments with a combined gross development value of close to £700 million across London alone. A Chelsea Barracks townhouse is currently on the market for £42 million. Projects have followed in New York, Miami, Palm Beach, Doha, and Dubai. The design language he brings to each of them is specific. Princess Beatrice revealed publicly in August 2021 that both she and Edoardo are dyslexic, calling the condition a gift. There is something deeply revealing about a man who processes written language with difficulty, choosing to build an entire career around how light moves through a room, how a material ages over decades, how a space makes you feel before you have consciously registered a single detail. He did not work around the way his brain functions. He designed a life that plays exactly to it. The business is only one half of what makes Edoardo complicated. Because before Banda made headlines and before the princess, there was another woman, another ring, and a little boy who changed every single calculation. The hidden romance. Before there was a princess, there was Dara Huang, Harvard-educated architect, founder of design house Liberty, a firm with clients including Four Seasons, LVMH, Cartier, and Harrods. Survivor of the 2008 Mumbai terrorist attacks. Her father is a former NASA rocket scientist. She is, by any honest measure, extraordinary. And Edoardo Mapelli Mozzi was engaged to her. They had a son together in 2016, Christopher Wolfe, called Wolfie by everyone who has ever seen a photograph of him. They were building a life, and then by 2018, the engagement was over, and within months, Edoardo was seeing a woman whose surname is Windsor. The Daily Beast ran the headline, "Nobody at the palace wanted to see." A friend of Edoardo's told a reporter, "The timing pretty much says it all." Dara's mother, Lily Huang, told the Mail on Sunday, "This has broken me to bits. Before this, my daughter was happy." A palisade insisted Beatrice would never disrupt a family with a small child. The truth sits somewhere in the middle of all of those versions, and nobody has been entirely honest about where. What came after the split, though, is where this story becomes genuinely unusual. Dara and Edoardo built something rare out of the wreckage. Not a legal ceasefire, not two people gritting their teeth at school pickups. A real co-parenting partnership built entirely around one little boy's happiness. In March 2025, Dara posted an Instagram story of Wolfie making a Mother's Day card for Beatrice. The caption read, "Making his stepmom a Mother's Day card." She added a heart emoji and wrote, "I taught him how to draw a bee." Wolfie served as best man at his father's wedding. He was 4 years old. His first name, Christopher, is a tribute to the stepfather Edoardo lost at Glastonbury, a boy named after a ghost at the heart of a royal story. Now you know who he was before the princess. The title, the empire, the broken engagement. The boy carrying a dead man's name. What nobody tells you is that this love story had been quietly building for 20 years before a single tabloid noticed it. The love story hiding for 20 years. The tabloids got this love story completely wrong. They described it as a whirlwind, but their connection ran through Christopher Shale, Edoardo's stepfather. Sarah Ferguson is the godmother of Edoardo's half-brother, Albie. When Shale died at Glastonbury in 2011, Prince Andrew, Beatrice, and Eugenie attended his funeral. Both Edoardo and Beatrice were born at the Portland Hospital in London. When the engagement was announced, Edoardo's mother, Nikki, said simply, "Our family has known Beatrice for most of her life." Sarah Ferguson was more direct. She told a reporter, "I have known Edo since he was 4. The moment that changed everything happened at Princess Eugenie's wedding in October 2018. Edoardo had recently ended his engagement to Dara Huang. Beatrice had been single since 2016. Two people who had spent 20 years in each other's world suddenly found themselves both unattached and standing in the same room at the same moment. A source described the shift as immediate. By November 2018, the relationship was confirmed publicly. By March 2019, they appeared together officially at a National Portrait Gallery gala. By May 2019, they walked arm in arm into Lady Gabriella Windsor's wedding, and nobody was pretending to wonder anymore. The proposal came in September 2019, on a terrace in Italy overlooking the Tyrrhenian Sea. Edoardo had been working in secret for 4 months with jeweler Sean Leon on a ring designed entirely around who Beatrice is. Leon told People magazine, "Edo was very prepared. He knew exactly what he wanted. A round stone. Platinum. Art Deco fused with Victorian detail. The finished ring featured a central diamond of approximately 2.5 carats, flanked by tapered baguette stones, all ethically sourced from Botswana." On September 26, 2019, Buckingham Palace made it official. Edoardo posted on Instagram, "You will never be alone, my love. My heart is your home." Sarah Ferguson wrote, "I know what a mother feels, so I have tears of joy." Eugenie wrote, "Bia, wow. You two are meant to be." The engagement party at the Chiltern Firehouse in December drew Ellie Goulding, Pippa Middleton, and much of fashionable London. Prince Andrew was not there. By December 2019, his absence from social occasions was the only sensible response to a situation spiraling out of control. The original wedding plan, announced in February 2020, was beautiful. The Chapel Royal at St. James's Palace on May 29th. A reception in the Buckingham Palace Gardens given by the Queen herself. No public money. Guests directed to donate to charity instead of buying gifts. Generous, considered, and completely destroyed within months. On November 16th, 2019, 7 weeks after the engagement was announced, Prince Andrew sat down with BBC journalist Emily Maitlis for 58 minutes of television that royal historians will study for the rest of their careers. He offered a Pizza Express alibi for the night in question. He explained that a medical condition acquired during the Falklands War had prevented him from sweating on the relevant evening. He suggested the photograph of himself with Virginia Giuffre probably was not him, because he typically wore a suit and tie when going out in London. Mateless challenged every single answer without raising her voice once. Within days, Andrew had stepped back from royal duties. Beatrice's wedding planning was quietly and significantly scaled back. On July 17, 2020, Beatrice and Edoardo married at the Royal Chapel of All Saints at Royal Lodge in Windsor. 20 guests. No announcement beforehand. The world only found out after it was already over. Government restrictions banned hymns, so the national anthem was played. Wolfie, 4 years old, stood as best man. The youngest person in recorded royal wedding history to hold that role. The wedding was intimate and secret and lit from within by 2 objects borrowed from the most beloved woman in Britain. What came after it was 5 years of building a life on ground that never stopped shifting. The father who won't go away. After the wedding, they moved into a 4-floor apartment in St. James's Palace. They are not working royals in the traditional sense, which means no state funding, no official duties, no palace budget. Beatrice worked as vice president of partnerships and strategy at the AI company Affinity before the firm entered provisional liquidation in November 2024. She then founded her own strategic consultancy called BYEQ. She attended Davos in January 2026. She works, and she always has. Edoardo runs Banda. Together, they are the most professionally functional people in the immediate royal orbit. By late 2022, they had moved to a converted farmhouse near Blenheim Palace in Oxfordshire. 6 bedrooms, swimming pool, tennis courts, worth approximately £3.5 million. Edoardo's mother, Nikki, lives 15 minutes away. That choice, to deliberately build a life within reach of his mother, tells you more about who this man is than any business figure ever could. In September 2021, their first daughter together arrived. Sienna Elizabeth Mapelli Mozzi, born at Chelsea and Westminster Hospital, weighing 6 pounds and 2 ounces. The name Elizabeth honors the Queen. Sienna is currently 10th in line to the British throne. In October 2024, a second pregnancy was announced. Sarah Ferguson, who her grandchildren call Gigi and whom Wolfie calls Dutchie, posted on Instagram, "Wolfie, August, Ernie and Sienna will be over the moon to have the 5th member of the 5 aside." Then, on January 22, 2025, Beatrice gave birth to their second daughter, several weeks prematurely. Athena Elizabeth Rose Mapelli Mozzi arrived at Chelsea and Westminster Hospital weighing 4 pounds and 5 ounces. The original due date had been early spring. In December 2024, doctors had quietly advised Beatrice against long-distance travel over Christmas. Athena required immediate intensive monitoring after birth. Beatrice later wrote for British Vogue. Edoardo posted the day Athena arrived. "Our hearts are overflowing with love for you, baby Athena. She is tiny and absolutely perfect. We are all, including Wolfie and Sienna, already completely besotted with her." Beatrice took on a patronage with Born, a UK medical research charity dedicated to understanding premature birth, announcing it at the Victoria and Albert Museum's Wonderland Gala in March 2025. Her first public appearance since Athena's birth. She told the room, "Every year in the UK, 60,000 babies are delivered too soon, with little information or research as to why. The work that Born is undertaking is something that is incredibly close and personal to me following the recent birth of my daughter." Then came the arrest. February 19, 2026. Prince Andrew's 66th birthday. Misconduct in public office. 11 hours in custody. Released pending investigation. Stripped of his HRH, removed from Royal Lodge, living in a Sandringham farmhouse, signing himself Mountbatten Windsor. 82% of Britons in a recent poll want him removed from the succession entirely. Beatrice has not publicly distanced herself from her father. He walked her down the aisle, and that fact has not been retracted. She has also not defended him. She navigates the space between those two positions with what journalist after journalist, across publication after publication, has described using exactly the same two words: quiet grace. It is worth asking what that costs her. Nobody outside that household actually knows. On the day of the arrest, Edoardo was at Cornus having lunch. He kept building, he kept showing up to conferences. He kept posting about craft and design and the future of luxury living. His stepfather, David Williams Ellis, was asked in a 2023 Hello interview to describe Edoardo in a single phrase. He said, "Generosity of spirit." He also said something that reframes the entire story. He said, "When Beatrice first met Edo, she was a teenager. Edo was maybe 18, 19. I think they formed a bond from quite early on in their lives, which they revisited when they re-met and fell in love." That is the answer to the question this story has been building toward since the very first paragraph. Why would a man with a hereditary title, a property empire, and every option available to him choose to walk into one of the most troubled households in British royal history and stay there through criminal investigations, federal documents, premature births, receiverships, and a wedding plan dismantled twice before it happened? Because generosity of spirit is not a strategy. And when that is who you are, you do not run when things get difficult. You show up. You keep building. You stand in the tuxedo at the V&A Gala. You post the anniversary message. You have the Belgravia lunch. You stay. Edoardo Mapelli Mozzi is a count who does not need the title to hold a room. He is a developer who understands that the most valuable thing you build has nothing to do with square footage. He walked into the most scrutinized family in Britain, carrying a broken engagement, a son from another relationship, a project in receivership, and centuries of Italian nobility tucked quietly into his name. And through all of it, he has made it look like it was always supposed to go exactly this way. Maybe it was. Drop a comment and tell me whether you think Edoardo is the most overlooked figure in this entire royal story right now, or whether the real chapter nobody has written yet is actually about the woman standing right beside him. Because we think Beatrice herself is far more interesting than anyone has given her credit for. And that story is coming next.